Close your eyes and imagine this. You've spent days planning, prepping, and getting together a prototype of the idea that you have in your head. Your database is flawless, your logic is airtight, and the app functions perfectly. But then you start to poke around and it just feels dead. It's completely flat, static, and honestly, a little hard on the eyes. Hey everyone, if your app looks like a wireframe and feels clunky to use, you are in exactly the right place. Today we're taking a flat, boring dashboard and breathing life into it using just a few simple CSS tricks. We aren't touching a single line of HTML or JavaScript. And by the end of this video, your project won't just look professional, it's going to feel incredibly satisfying for your users to interact with. Now let's dive in. Step 1 is establishing our foundation, setting up a proper modern dark mode. If you're building tools for power users, a glaring light screen is a great way to guarantee eye strain. But here is the biggest mistake beginners make when designing for a dark mode. They just flip the background to pure black. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Pure black is actually terrible for UI. It can cause an optical illusion called halation, where text bleeds into the background, and on OLED screens, OLED screens, whatever you want to call them, scrolling pure black can cause an ugly smearing effect. Instead, we are using a deep, cool charcoal. Think 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 as our base. Next, we need to create visual depth. In light mode, we use drop shadows to make cards pop off the page, but in dark mode, shadows just disappear. Instead, we use elevation. The closer an element is to the user, the lighter it should be. Using slightly lighter grays like 1E, 1E, 1E for our cards with a darker background makes them pop. And finally, we dial back our brain colors. High saturation vibrates against dark backgrounds. By softening our neon blues, purples into pastels, they remain highly readable without screaming at the user's retinas. Alright, the colors look amazing, but the app still feels rigid. Step 2 is the secret sauce that separates amateur templates from premium apps. CSS transitions. When a user interacts with an element, it changes instantly. It feels jarring. Real physical objects don't just change state in 0 milliseconds. To fix this, we add a single line of CSS, a universal transition. We are telling the browser, hey, anytime an element changes, take 0.2 seconds to smoothly animate that change. I love using the ease in-out timing function because it starts the animation slowly, speeds up in the middle, and slows down at the end. Mimics physical momentum. It's one line of code, but the payoff for your app's overall feel is massive. Now that our UI can transition smoothly, step 3 is adding micro interactions. We want our buttons to feel tactile. The old school tedious way to do this was to create new, slightly lighter, slightly darker CSS variables for every single button color on your app. And if you have 5 button colors, that's 5 new variables, 100 buttons, 100 variables. It clutters up your code very quickly. Instead, we're going to use CSS filters. By applying a filter against your brightness to increase on our hover states, we tell the browser to take whatever the current background color is and just mathematically make it brighter. Works universally across all buttons, keeping our style sheets incredibly clean. But we're going to take this one step further. We want the user to feel like they're interacting with an actual physical button on the screen. On hover, we add a -1 pixel translation, which visually lifts the button up towards the user. Then, we use the active pseudo class, which triggers the exact moment the mouse clicks down to translate the button down 1 pixel and to darken the brightness. Wait, if you write your code and go to click the button, you might notice absolutely nothing happens. Your button doesn't press down. But why? You just fell into a classic front-end rite of passage, the CSS specificity trap. When you click a button and your mouse is still hovering over it, the browser tries to apply both the hover and active rules at the same time. And if you targeted your hover state with a specific class name, like start button hover, your active state with a generic HTML tag like button active, the class wins because it's more specific. The browser completely ignores your click. How do we fix this? Make sure that both rules have the exact same level of specificity. By targeting the generic button element for both our hover and active states, they tie. Or by selecting the specific classes, as I do here, they also tie. And in a CSS tie, the rule written last wins. And since our active state is below the hover state, it successfully overrides the hover the exact millisecond that you click. And here we see this in action. The button rises up to meet your mouse, and when you click it, it physically depresses. It actually feels like clicking a real mechanical button, but it's on your screen. And there you have it. With just a few thoughtful color choices, universal transitions, and a clever use of CSS filters and transforms, we took a flat layout and turned it into a living, breathing interface. Taking the time to add these micro interactions is how you prove to your users that you actually care about their experience. If you found this deep dive helpful, please hit that like button. It helps the channel a ton. Drop a comment below with your favorite CSS trick, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next build. Keep coding, and I'll see you in the next one.